Hello, Oracles. Well, it's a lovely day out here in New England. Beautiful weather, beautiful day for a hike. I just got my vehicle, needed a transmission flush. I gotta tell you, it's be really nice when I don't have to worry about that anymore when I get my Tesla. So, I loved the live stream that we had last night. Thank you all for being on. Those of you who were able to join, had a blast. I love being able to have these conversations with you guys. And we talked a lot about the Elon Twitter deal and everything that was going on, and Elon pulling out of that, which is something he doesn't usually do. And so in doing so, had some discussions with several of you and discussed about how, the stock price was pulled down because of Elon trying to buy Twitter, and then he had to sell shares, and everybody thought it was going to be a huge distraction for him. And that brought the stock price down. And everybody's like, well, he's pulling out of it now. If he just didn't do it in the first place, the stock price would have never come down. And it leads me to the next point of, as an investor, a long-term investor in Tesla, and you have the conviction Tesla is going to be a huge generational wealth building opportunity, you'd want to buy in at the lowest prices possible, regardless of why the price came down to what it was, as long as it wasn't a fundamental collapse of the company. So in this case here, we were given an amazing buying opportunity. Tesla pulled all the way down to 620 at the bottom. So sure, if Elon didn't go and make this move and try to buy Twitter, absolutely, the stock price probably would not have pulled down that far. But that also means that we wouldn't have had that opportunity to buy it at that level. So it comes down to, do you view these things as an opportunity, or do you view it as a disaster? Because the way I look at it, it was a huge opportunity for us to buy. Very similar to when Elon was selling his shares back in November and December. Huge opportunities to buy. Now, sure, you can argue, hey, if we end up getting into a massive recession and the stock market does collapse and the S&P bulls down to 3,400, sure, maybe we break that low of 620 and come down even further. It's possible. But now looking at the fact that the Twitter deal is off the plate, the stock price clearly is enjoying this, and we're going to rally a little bit. We'll most likely we might even see 800 or 850 on Monday or Tuesday, and we do have a gap going up to 865. So maybe ahead of CPI, perhaps we hit that 865. Or maybe we just kind of creep up a little bit, get close to 800. Maybe we get good CPI and PPI numbers on Wednesday and Thursday, and then maybe we push up over 865 at that point. Totally possible. And then if we do end up getting a pullback, the pullback that we get when the S&P drops down to 3,400 won't be as drastic because the Twitter piece is off the plate. The Twitter piece brought us down probably 15% by itself. And so you just put 15% on top of whatever the bottom would be if the S&P does pull back that far. And don't forget, Elon bought 73.5 million shares of Twitter, which now that he's going to be canceling this deal, I'm guessing most likely he's going to be selling those shares. Not good for Twitter holders, but does that mean that he is going to be purchasing Tesla stock in place of it? So now think about when he sold off of his shares to be able to purchase Twitter. He sold them between probably like 850 and 1,000, I think was roughly the ballpark pricing that he had sold it for. So if he bought back in now, he would be buying it at a significant discount, and it would make sense for him to buy back in. So whether he's going to do it or not, I don't know. But that's still a possibility, because if he does buy back into Tesla, that's going to boost the stock back up even more. And so just all these numbers. But again, these to me, if you're looking at Tesla long term, and I just updated my price targets through 2032. I've got them over on my Patreon if you want to check them out there. I will update them on here after we get Q2 earnings. But if you want to check them out now, they're over on Patreon. But looking at where I think the company is heading and the stock price is heading, buying in at any of these prices are going to be good. I still maintain that when we dropped under 1,000, buying under 1,000 at this point is an amazing opportunity. And the fundamentals of the company just continue to grow. So that just means that every quarter we get through, it just makes it a better and better opportunity for the price that we're at, especially with how low we are. So when I look back at the prices that we got because Elon was trying to buy Twitter, I personally took it as an amazing buying opportunity. And it's because of the formula I put together for myself, which is, what is my investment horizon on the stock? Is it 3, 5, 7, 10 years? For me, it's 10 years. So then I look at it and say, all right, what is my price target for my time frame? What is that price target for 3, 5, 7, 10 years? Okay, so the price that we are at now Do I think that I will get a good return on my investment purchasing now? To me, that is a yes. So then I look at, what is my conviction in the stock and the company? Do I truly feel that the company will be able to take us there? Personally, I feel that we are going to get there. And so if I am happy purchasing at the prices now because of the return on that investment I will get, then anytime the stock gets pulled down any further, for whatever reason it is, unless it's a fundamental collapse of the company, so as long as it's not anything like that, and we get silly noise, FUD, and nonsense that pull the stock price down, then it's an even better return on my investment that I'll get in the future. But this is why I dollar cost average, because we are definitely in a very uncertain market right now, and I don't know if the macro is going to pull down further. So when it comes to the company itself, I have faith in the company. When it comes to the economy and the macro environment, well, that's a different question. So that's why I dollar cost average the way I do, because historically, again, dollar cost averaging is the best way on average to get the best gains in the future. And I hear a lot about people are like, oh, I lost so much money because of Elon trying to buy Twitter. And you got to take a step back and take your emotions out. Did you actually lose any money, or did your portfolio just come down? Because if it's just because your portfolio came down, then you're going to need to have some patience and go back to my formula and say, what is your conviction in the stock and what is your horizon timeline on holding the stock for? Because if your time horizon's at least 3 years, then whatever happened in the last 2 months means absolutely nothing. So you shouldn't even worry about it. You didn't lose anything. You only lose if you actually sell. And if you chose to sell during those times, that's on you. You made that choice to buy. Sorry, you got to take responsibility for your own actions. Yes, Elon did what he did. It brought the stock price down, but you didn't have to sell. You could have just held through it. Or you could have bought more to bring your cost basis down. You could have actually done that, especially if you are truly a long-term investor in Tesla. That would have been a wise move to do. And I'm a huge Marvel movie nerd. And so I was watching Avengers 2 today, and I thought about it, and I was like, Thor and not being able to control his emotions has led to the main reason why we have had to have these movies. Obviously, for whatever reason, but in the movie MCU itself, if it wasn't for Thor being so emotionally driven, Loki would have never come to Earth. We wouldn't have had the first Avengers movie. If Thor didn't emotionally react to Ultron when it was in his first iteration and smash him with his hammer, then Ultron would have never taken off and gone into the internet and become what he did. If Thor didn't use his emotions and went for the head the first time and took out Thanos, they wouldn't have had to go to Endgame. So now I relate this back to emotional investing and trading. Because if you are an investor, you shouldn't have emotions in the stock market at all. And so now I take it back to the stock market and investing. And you need to keep your emotions out, because your emotions are just going to make things worse. Just like with Thor, his emotions made things worse. And so as a long-term investor, you should not have your emotions involved in this at all. So think about it this way. Let's say you weren't invested in Tesla at all. And if you were not invested in Tesla whatsoever, and you saw that the stock was pulling down to 630, 620, and you bought in around that time near the bottom, guess what? You'd be looking at 25% gains at this point. So again, if you were a trader and just looking to get into the stock, or maybe you wanted to start investing now, maybe you're like, you know what, I do want to buy Tesla, I want to be a long-term investor, and you chose that time to get in, you're up 25% already. So again, you got to go back to, what is your long-term horizon? Some of you got in around $1,200. Maybe you're still sitting on those shares. So ask yourself, well, what does my long-term horizon look like? What is my conviction? Do you have faith that Tesla is going to hit your price targets in the future? Because if you do, then dollar cost average or ride it out. That is just how it's gone. I am not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what you can or can't do. You need to do and make your own decisions for your own portfolio. But just posing some questions here, because I was asked over on Patreon, what type of oracle am I? And I would say I'm like the Matrix type of oracle. I'm not the kind of oracle that's going to give you all of the answers. As a matter of fact, I'm actually quite the opposite. I'm going to probably present more questions than answers. And we joke about it regularly. But, tomorrow it's going to be green or red or stay flat. And it's, to me, it's about providing you guys the information so that you can ask more questions yourself to seek the answers that best suit you and help you become a better investor. And that's really where it comes down to for me, because in doing so, it helps you guys by asking these questions, seeking your own answers. That truly helps you take your emotions out of investing, because that's going to give you the knowledge. Having knowledge takes your emotions out. Think about, when you're going to try something new, or heck, the market in itself. What is the market like the least? Uncertainty. Because when you're uncertain about something, your emotions come in. Ooh, what's it going to do? Are we going to be green? Are we going to be red? What's the numbers going to come in at? That gets your emotions all worked up. But when you have knowledge and we get the answers to those questions, then the emotions are gone. The uncertainty is gone, and then the market calms down. It's exactly how you work as yourself as an investor, and actually as a human being. Just about anything in life, take a look at anything you do. Sure, if you're going to try something new, sometimes you're excited, sometimes you're nervous, sometimes you're both, and it's all because it's unknown. It's the unknown that gets you going and your emotions worked up. So then once you do it, the emotions are taken out. You have a job interview. Oh, I'm nervous. I have a first date. I'm nervous. Then you finish with it and you're like, oh, okay, that actually wasn't so bad because now I'm through it and I've experienced it. So that's what I do for you guys. I try to present to you guys as much information and knowledge that I can to help you ask as many questions as you can to then go out and seek your own knowledge. And when I do it for myself, when I go out to seek knowledge, I don't do it in a manner where I'm trying to find something to justify my own beliefs and where I think we're going. I truly try to seek the truth. And so, yes, I'm a Tesla bull, but I do try to seek out bears and I try to seek out negative information that's out there because that's realistic. You need to know these things. And if you can go into negative places and still have a high conviction in a company that you're investing in, that then just builds up your conviction even stronger because even the negative things aren't pulling it down as far. So going back to Tesla and Elon and Twitter, yeah, sure. If he was going to buy Twitter, it brought the stock price down, but fundamentally did not change the company, just gave us an amazing buying opportunity. And again, for those of you who took advantage of that buying opportunity, you're probably pretty happy with yourself right now. And so looking at this week and the stock price going forward, I still think we're going to be range bound just because the market that we're in is going to cause us to be range bound. So if the macro goes up or down, the range will in turn go up or down. However, because the Twitter overhang is no longer overhanging, I think that the range has now boosted up, as we saw after market on Friday. So we'll find out Monday and Tuesday for sure, probably close to maybe what the top end of the range is. And then with CPI and PPI data, that will determine if the range is going to go up or down. Let me know in the comments below. What questions do you guys ask yourselves when you came up with the conviction that you have for Tesla? Or maybe you don't have as much conviction in Tesla, and it's because of questions you've asked for yourself. So let me know in the comments because, again, I love the more questions you guys present to me and the more information and insight you give helps all of us come up with a better, more well-rounded picture of what we are seeking for the future of Tesla for ourselves. And one of the things that I look for when it comes to conviction is production and deliveries. I mean, obviously that's where Tesla is going to be getting their money from, production and deliveries. And so aTeslaBot has updated his delivery and production forecast for Q3 and Q4. You can find him over on Twitter at aTeslaBot or in our Discord chat. Both links are in the description down below. And looking at 50% year-over-year growth when it comes to production and deliveries through at least 2025 gives me all the conviction I need to be able to buy in now. And then I definitely want to see them continue to make progress on FSD. I want to see them continue to make progress with the Robo-Taxi, and we should be getting more information about that either later this year or next year. And then I want to make sure that they're coming through and they're progressing with energy. And then, of course, Optimus. But that's not till the end of the decade that I'm really looking forward to anything like that. But we should be getting a little insight into Optimus and hopefully a prototype at AI Day 2 on September 30th. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. Again, we have that Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to join our Patreon and support the channel any further, that link is also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.